The Punic Wars, three colossal clashes between Rome and Carthage war, not just battles for territory, but an ancient struggle that decided who would rule the Mediterranean world. It began in 264 BCE, when two rising powers stood face to face, each suspicious of the other's ambition. Carthage, a wealthy maritime empire built on trade, commanded powerful fleets and controlled key ports across North Africa, Spain, and the islands of the Mediterranean. Rome, on the other hand, was a land-based republic, expanding steadily but inexperienced at sea. Their rivalry ignited in Sicily, where a small dispute between local factions spiraled into a continent's shaking conflict. What followed was the First Punic War, a brutal 23-year struggle in which Rome, despite never having commanded a navy, built fleets from scratch, invented new boarding devices, and turned sea battles into infantry brawls. Victory came at enormous cost, and Carthage was forced to withdraw from Sicily, paying heavy indemnities. But the defeat sowed seeds of vengeance, and in the fires of resentment rose one of history's greatest military minds, Hannibal Barca. The Second Punic War, beginning in 218 BCE, stands as the most dramatic chapter in the ancient world. Hannibal, bound by an oath of hatred against Rome, launched a campaign that seemed impossible. He marched his troops, cavalry, and even war elephants across Spain through Gaul, and over the deadly Alps, an act so daring that it became legend. Against all odds, he descended into Italy, not as an exhausted refugee, but as a strategic genius ready to challenge Rome on its own soil. In a series of battles, Trebia, Lake Trasimene, and the devastating massacre at Cannae, Hannibal shattered Roman legions again and again. Using tactics so advanced they are still studied by modern commanders. Rome was shaken, its allies wavering, its confidence almost broken. Yet Hannibal faced an enemy with unmatched resilience. Rome refused to negotiate, refused to collapse, and instead shifted strategy. Under General Scipio Africanus, the Romans opened a new front, striking Carthaginian positions in Spain and eventually landing in North Africa. Forced to defend his homeland, Hannibal returned for one final confrontation at the Battle of Zama in 202 BCE. Here, the tides turned. Scipio learned from Hannibal's own tactics, neutralizing the Carthaginian elephants and defeating the once unstoppable general. Carthage lost its empire, its army, and much of its freedom. But Rome's fear of Carthage never faded. Decades later, the Senate, fueled by politicians like Cato the Elder, pushed for a final reckoning. Thus came the Third Punic War, a short but tragic conflict in which Rome, now the unquestioned superpower, laid siege to a weakened Carthage. For 3 years, Carthaginian citizens resisted fiercely, defending their city street by street, house by house. Yet the outcome was inevitable. In 146 BCE, Rome stormed the city, destroyed it stone by stone, and burned it to the ground. Survivors were enslaved, and the once proud metropolis became a symbol of what happens when a superpower fears a rival. With Carthage erased, Rome emerged as the dominant force in the Mediterranean for centuries to come. The Punic Wars reshaped the ancient world, demonstrating how ambition, strategy, and relentless determination can change the fate of empires. It is a reminder that history's greatest conflicts are not always between good and evil. Sometimes they are between powers that simply cannot coexist.